Here are 5 signs God is trying to get your attention. All you need to do is watch till the end. Have you ever felt like something in your life just isn't clicking? Maybe things are going wrong, or you're feeling unsettled, but you can't quite put your finger on why. It could be that God is trying to get your attention. Life moves fast, and sometimes we get so caught up in the chaos, work, school, social media, that we don't realize we've drifted away from God. He has a way of reaching out to us, especially when we're too distracted or busy to notice Him. But here's the thing. God doesn't always speak to us in loud, obvious ways. Sometimes it's through subtle signs, nudges, or recurring situations that He's trying to tell us something. So how do you know when God is speaking to you? How do you recognize when He's trying to draw you closer? Here are 5 signs that God is trying to get your attention. 1. You keep facing the same challenges over and over. You know that situation you can't seem to get past? Whether it's in your relationships, your job, or even in your personal struggles. If you're facing the same obstacle repeatedly, it might not be a coincidence. Sometimes, God allows us to go through certain challenges until we've learned the lesson He's trying to teach us. Think about it. Have you ever wondered why the same problem keeps resurfacing? Whether it's with a difficult coworker, a broken relationship, or even a recurring temptation, there's a reason for it. God is using those situations to grow you, to strengthen you, and to shift your perspective. Instead of getting frustrated and asking, "Why is this happening again?" ask, "God, what are you trying to teach me in this?" It's hard to embrace the idea that struggles can actually be part of God's plan for us. But when we lean into those challenges and seek His wisdom, we often find that He's molding us into the people He created us to be. 2. You feel an unexplainable restlessness. Have you ever felt like everything was fine in your life, but deep down you're still unsettled? You might have a good job, friends, and everything seems okay, but you still feel empty or restless inside. That restlessness isn't something to ignore. It could be a sign that God is trying to get your attention. When we're not living in alignment with God's will for our lives, we can feel a nagging sense that something is off. It's like we're not fully where we're supposed to be. This restlessness is God's way of nudging you, saying, "I have more for you. I want more for you. Let's refocus." Instead of running to distractions to fill that void, whether it's social media, Netflix, or even just staying busy, pause. Spend time in prayer and ask God to show you what's really going on. What areas of your life need realignment? What's He calling you to change? Often, that restlessness is God drawing you closer to Him, inviting you into deeper connection. 3. People keep giving you the same advice. Have you noticed that sometimes different people in your life keep telling you the same thing? Maybe it's advice you didn't even ask for, but it keeps coming up in conversations. It could be friends, family, or even a random conversation with a stranger, but somehow the message keeps repeating itself. This is often God's way of speaking through the people around us. If you keep hearing the same advice or encouragement from multiple sources, pay attention. God might be using others to point you in the direction He wants you to go. You might brush it off the first few times, thinking it's just coincidence. But when you start hearing the same message over and over, take note. God places people in our lives to guide us, encourage us, and sometimes even challenge us. Maybe it's about stepping out of your comfort zone, forgiving someone you've been holding a grudge against, or trusting God more fully with a big decision. Whatever it is, God can speak through the voices of those around you when we're not listening closely enough to Him directly. He works through community, so don't ignore those nudges. 4. Doors keep closing and new ones open. If you've been trying to make something work, whether it's a job, relationship, or personal goal, and doors keep closing, don't get discouraged. This is one of the clearest ways God directs us. When He closes doors, it's often because He's protecting us from something that isn't good for us or isn't aligned with His plan for our lives. I know, it can be frustrating when things don't go according to your plan. You've been praying for something to work out, and suddenly the door slams shut. But here's the thing. When God closes a door, it's because He's redirecting you to something better. We may not see it right away, but God's perspective is so much greater than ours. What we think is a missed opportunity could actually be His way of guiding us to something that's more aligned with His purpose for us. At the same time, when God opens new doors, it's often in ways we didn't expect. Be open to new possibilities, even if they seem outside your comfort zone. He has a plan, and even when we don't understand it, we can trust that His plan is for our good. 5. You can't escape a certain Bible verse or message. Have you ever experienced a time when a particular Bible verse or message keeps popping up, whether it's in your devotional, at church, or even online? You might read it one morning, then hear a sermon on it later that week, and then see it again on social media. That's not just a coincidence. It's God speaking directly to you. God often uses His word to communicate with us. And when a certain verse or message keeps appearing, it's because He wants you to pay attention. Maybe it's a verse about trusting Him more, letting go of fear, or stepping out in faith. Whatever it is, God is using that message to speak to your situation right now. Don't brush it off as a coincidence. Instead, take time to really meditate on that verse. Ask God, what are you trying to tell me through this? How does this apply to my life right now? When we approach God's word with open hearts, we often discover that He's using it to guide us in ways we didn't expect. So, if you've noticed any of these signs in your life, don't ignore them. God is reaching out to you because He has something important to say. He wants to guide you, strengthen you, and draw you closer to Him. The question is, are you ready to listen?